Have you ever encountered something you couldn't explain?
Ghosts, were they strangers or were they family?
Cryptids, alien encounters.
Strange animal encounters, child spirits.
Whatever your experience, we want to hear about it.
Email your story to WLTK-DB paranormalroom@gmail.com for your chance to share your story on the show. Again, that's WLTK-DB paranormalroom@gmail.com.
We're waiting for your story.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Logan, you're here. I thought you were going to be a little late today.
I thought I was going to be too, but the meeting let out just in time.
Awesome. I'm glad you're here. And hey, everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Room. This is my co-host, Logan Jacobson. I'm Christina Bloom, and you are listening to us through WLTK-DB, Let's Talk Radio. And today, we're going to talk about the most haunted places on Earth, collectively.
Yes.
Collectively, anyway. Maybe not individually, but collectively. Haunted hospitals, clinics, mental health care facilities, nursing homes, anywhere where there's a higher chance that people are going to be passing in the facility. Hi, Robin. Welcome back. Thank you. I do want to make a couple of quick announcements because I know that we might have a little different audience here than Be the Change does. So this weekend, I will be in Sandgate, Vermont. I always forget how to say that. At Enliven Retreat Center, I will be co-hosting a retreat with two other wonderful ladies, Brenda and Carrie, and really looking forward to that. It is a women's retreat, and we do have 2 spots left if anyone is interested. Just let me know. On the 19th, I will be at 29 Pines, Sleep-In and Suites in Eau Claire. I will be doing readings. I don't remember if I'm on the speaker list or not for that one, but I will be there all day doing psychic readings. And the big announcement, here we go. Drum roll. Hey, Maureen, drum roll. Hey, you're the guy with the soundboard. Do you have one?
I don't have. Wait, I think I do have a drum roll. Hang on. I have a rim shot, not a drum roll.
Don't forget that one, a rim shot. Okay. Moonbow Productions Metaphysical Expo. First one, Saranac Lake, New York, Hotel Saranac, a very haunted hotel. So super excited about that. Save the dates. It's next year, November 18th and 19th. In 2023, it is a 2-day event. So we will have 2 full days of readers, healers, vendors, all kinds of fun stuff. And maybe they just got haunted. What?
I think Keith is having some connection issues.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because he said she freeze. Did I freeze? I don't know.
I don't think we froze. I think it may be a connection on Keith's end. Sorry, Keith.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, this is, and actually it was my paranormal group that investigated Hotel Saranac.
Oh, we did freeze.
We did freeze. Okay.
Can you still hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us? Hello? Anyone? Out there in the ethers, can
Don't
you
make
hear
me
us?
bust out the soundboard. I have new bits.
All right. All is good. Todd says all's good. We keep going. No one froze.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Todd. Oh, Robin said we're back. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah, it was the Adirondack Park Paranormal Society that did the investigation, and we have one of those people who was on that investigation and has also worked at that particular hotel with us tonight. So we are going to bring out Susie, who's going to tell us about that. But she also has another investigation in another medical facility that she wants to tell us about.
True story.
Welcome back, Susie.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you. I miss you already.
Well, hopefully we'll see each other in a couple of months. So
yes.
It's all good.
Yes. All right. So the sanitarium. Let's start there. The sanatorium or terium?
Yeah, it's just based on your own pronunciation.
Okay.
I think it's sanitarium, but yeah, if we're talking about haunted medical facilities,
Mm-hmm.
It's gone under different names. Originally, it was Trudeau Sanitarium. Then it was Adirondack Cottage Sanitarium, and now it's or formerly Adirondack Management Association.
Okay.
But then it wasn't a sanatorium anymore. They were just using the facilities there, and now the buildings are now under. Some of them are under full restoration. Some of them are still being used. So yeah, there's still activity, physical activity, there.
Keith,
But
Keith
yeah.
yes.
says, yes, Keith, abandoned child's asylum, that definitely counts. There was some
Oh,
trauma
yeah,
happening there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. All
absolutely.
right. Um, yeah. So we're going to talk about the sanatorium first. And Keith, if you want to come on, we'll get you a link and then you can tell us about your experience there.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah. So go ahead.
So we were called in to do an investigation. We couldn't get to all the buildings. Some of them were in either in disrepair or um, they were still being privately used.
Hmm.
So we were able to get into four different buildings. One of them being the main building that's called Dodd. That's where the nurses stayed on the uppermost floor, and on the main floor, that's where the residents would gather for dining halls and entertainment. Let me back up a little bit. Give you a little
Okay.
background.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Edward Trudeau had come to Saranac Lake for a cure for TB. This was back in the early 1800s. And at that time, there was a Russian doctor that felt that the only way to cure TB was to get people into cold air, cold, clean air. And Saranac Lake was starting to draw people in for, and God knows we had the cold air, 40 below zero on a good winter day. So he had come up here, found out he felt incredibly better while he was here, and being a physician himself, and being somebody who had watched his brother die of it, and eventually two of his kids ended up with it. So he had a personal. He also had it twice. He left Saranac Lake. He got it again. Came back to Saranac Lake. I'll say the Saranac Lake area, and decided, all right, I need to do something. And so he developed. First, he built a little cottage, and he was inviting people up. Well, suddenly the word got out that, oh, you go to Saranac Lake, there's a cure for tuberculosis. And it was widespread, not just in the States, but also in other countries like Europe and such. So, in the process of Saranac Lake ever expanding, the sanatorium ended up becoming overwhelmed with patients. So in this area, we have about 8 or 9 sanatoriums altogether that were affiliated through Dr. Trudeau. And he built a separate hospital so that people could filter. Okay, if you don't want to be with the sick people, there were private homes that you could go into. If you wanted, if you were elderly, there was one sanatorium to go to. If you wanted to go to the all-woman sanatorium, there was one for that. There was one that was for a couple other private sanatoriums. But at AMA, or excuse me, at the Adirondack Cottage Sanatorium itself, it was all self-contained. You had radio, you had post office, you had doctors that had TB that came to stay at Trudeau Sanatorium who would help with the patients, but at the same time they were getting the cure. The cure. You had nurses, same thing. They had TB, but in order for it was Dr. Trudeau's idea that they would either not get paid or get paid minimal and still get doctors and nurses to care for the patients that were coming in. It was kind of a win-win for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And for the most part, I give kudos to Dr. Trudeau. He did develop a cure up here. It's something that people have expanded on over the years, but the basic cure is still the same thing that he developed up here in Saranac Lake.
That's awesome. So, what were your
Yeah.
experiences during the investigation?
Um, well, let's start with the building that was, I think it was called James, and that's where most of the doctors stayed. They did see patients in there. And one of the things that we did during the research, we found some poems that some of the patients had written on about the doctors. So there was four of us that went into James, this particular situation, and one of us had SLS camera. Two of us had recorders. Somebody else had a camera. We had a K2 machine too, I believe. And I read some of the poems off of each doctor. And when we got to one part of the building, we noticed there was two stick figures, like you see on a SLS camera, and one of them was literally sitting with his leg propped up on his other leg, just kind of chilling out. And I asked, "Would you like to talk with us?" And the arm moved. I said, "Well, if you're going to talk to us, we have to have a yes/no conversation here. If it's a yes, can you do this for me?" And he raised his hand.
Awesome.
And I said, "If it's a no, put your hand on your leg." And you saw the arm go down on his leg. This is fantastic. This is a paranormal investigator's dream.
Absolutely.
The other stick figure decided he didn't want any part of it, and you literally saw him leave the screen. Beautiful. So we talked about that he told us he was a patient there. He said he saw some very sad things, but he saw a lot of good things, more good than bad. He himself ended up leaving Trudeau. He said he survived, so we assumed he left. So this went on for a good 20-25 minutes. We try not to have our EVP sessions go too long.
Wow. That's a long EVP session.
That's a long EVP.
Yeah.
And so we decided to leave the building. And the young lady that was holding the SLS camera, we both thought we heard footsteps behind us. So she turned it around, and it was following us out of the building. And we went just past the edge of the building, and whoever the doctor was, we assume it was a doctor, he stopped. He would not or could not go back beyond the edge of the building.
Wow.
In that same building, we were working with another team, and they went in, and what we were doing, we were kind of mixing and matching our team with their team.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gone in with the other team, and again, we heard movement. So I told one of the guys that had the camera, I said, "Quick, take pictures over there. I don't know what it is. There's something there." And in the picture, you can see, and there's a lot of debate on as to what it is. I think it looks like an old man crouched over a walker. And somebody else thought it looked like somebody riding a tricycle. Well, okay. But it was a perfect apparition. We didn't see it with our eyes, but when we took the picture, it was there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
Now, is that on your website?
The picture?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. We still have it. I have it on my camera.
Okay.
But yeah, I can get that to you.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll get it to you right after we get done here.
Yeah.
And then we had the building where the nurses were dod. We have a picture of there. It was a 3-story building, and the nurses were on the uppermost floor. And we had some investigators got touched on the shoulder. We heard footsteps. We heard movement. One of our cameras, when we turned it a certain way, it would always pixelate in that one corner. And then okay, it's nice and clear here. We go back here, we start pixelating again. So there was obviously something going on there, but we could never narrow down as to what it was. And there was no power in the building. There was no heat in the building, so it wasn't electricity.
Okay.
And that was a cold night. Oh,
I'm
God,
sure.
it was cold.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
That was
looking at
over
some
2
other cold
weekends.
nights coming up too. So yeah.
Yes, we are. But that's the nature of what we do.
Yes.
It's definitely the
Yes.
nature of what we do. And we also have a picture of an apparition of definitely a nurse. She was wearing the old cap,
Hmm.
and you could see the band on it. And the band used to tell you what grade of nurse they were, whether they were LPN, registered nurse, and what level of registered nurse they were, depending on the color.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. So definitely there was a nurse going up the stairs. Downstairs, on not the bottommost floor, but the second floor, that's where the pixelation took place. We had footsteps down on the main floor. We had, we took a picture of something. Actually, we were just looking at it a couple days ago. We don't know what it is.
Okay.
Some people thought it was maybe a flash, but there was nothing for the flash to reflect off of in that particular area. Again, it wasn't electricity. It wasn't heat radiating from something because there was no heat in the building. We brought our own heaters, but it was nowhere near. We found one small room,
Hmm.
and that's where we set up command, and we have our portable heaters so that we wouldn't freeze to death during the night.
That's
Um,
always a good idea. And I assume that they are not electric heaters.
no, no. We have kerosene heaters that we bring with
Okay.
us. Actually, we had one investigation that we did out in Potsdam, New York, and we had set up a tent, and we turned the a kerosene heater on, and we put it in the middle of the tent, and we all gathered around. We did our investigation, and it worked out. Actually, it was a good investigation. We didn't realize how much heat or moisture we were building in the tent.
Oh
We
boy.
took the heater when we were closing down for the night. We took the heater out. By the time we took the heater out, shut it down, came back to the tent, everything, all the moisture had frozen.
Oh,
So it sounded like, as we were folding the tent back together, it sounded like it was ripping.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So one of our members had a big garage. She said, "I'll just bring it to the garage, thaw it out, and pack it up for you." Works for us.
I have to say, I'm not surprised.
Well, you do what you got to do to make it happen.
Exactly. 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 Wow. It's incredible that you got so much clear evidence
Yeah. Well, we
in
were
one
there for two
location.
nights,
Okay.
and here's the as with every situation, especially something with medical, you do have life, you do have death, and you have everything in between.
Right.
And there were we found there was tracks that was going up to one of the buildings. Saranac Lake was known for its night trains,
Hmm.
and what they would do, because they didn't want it to get out that people were dying,
Hmm.
so they would take the bodies out, ship them back home at night, so it wouldn't be as obvious that we were shipping body. I say we Saranac Lake,
Yeah.
we're shipping bodies out because people were coming literally from around the world.
Yeah.
And
For
there
the
was one
cure.
sanatorium too that was strictly for the actors and the actresses that also came down with TB, but they came here for the cure. And that's now a assisted living facility.
Okay.
And that building has activity too.
Oh, I'm sure that
I
assisted
believe
living,
it.
Yeah.
yeah, assisted living nursing homes, they have a lot of
Well, they
activity.
still, because it was
Yeah.
actors and actresses, they
Hmm.
in this particular building they still have the original auditorium,
Okay.
and they would put on shows for the residents that were there. And I was there for a show. Actually, my kids were two of the actors, and I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I turned to look, and there was nobody there. And I went, "Hey, this is great."
Awesome. They know where to
But
find you.
oh yeah, they do. They
Yep.
seem to search me out. It's all fun.
I love it.
But there was one building that, like I said, I started saying negative and positive. That it affected everybody that was there. People that weren't normally got along really well were
Hmm.
fighting, and we didn't figure it out till later. But that one particular building, and I'm not going to name the building because I don't want people looking for it. It is on that property. Um, it had some very dark vibes, very dark spirits, very dark whoever went into the building were either emotionally taken out,
Okay.
or they went back to where we were staging and they started fighting, and they were
Wow.
angry and they were bitter and they don't normally fight like that. And as
Right.
soon as they got away from that area, they were fine. I don't normally get, I won't say I don't get scared, but I don't get shaken.
Yeah.
And I was shaken. I was absolutely no good to anybody. I went out of the door, and I dropped to my knees, and took two people to pick me up. We walked
Wow.
back to headquarters, and Christina, you've seen me work.
Yeah.
It does not ever happen to me, and it knocked me for a loop.
Wow.
It's taken me. You can still drive through the property,
Hmm.
and I have not been back.
Yeah, you suggested that.
I
I never did that. I didn't do it. And I don't know why I didn't do it. I thought of it when I was about, to like Finger Lakes on my way back home. That's about when it occurred to me I was supposed to do that.
Well, that's okay. Maybe you weren't supposed to. But
Maybe not at that time, but
I
yeah.
know other people that have just driven through it,
Hmm.
and they find the building I'm talking about.
I mean, it's a huge complex. I mean,
It is. It is
it's
huge.
huge. I mean, it takes a few minutes to drive past it. And
Well,
as I'm driving past it, even on, was it like Highway 3 there or something? Was it what?
State Route
Yeah,
3, yep.
State Route 3, even driving past that complex, I feel the energy shift as I'm driving past it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's.
And
Did you
and
get
like I
that,
said,
Logan, when we were out there?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I thought you did
yeah.
because
And,
you
and
kind of
like I said,
reacted to it, but you didn't say anything.
but yeah,
There was a lot going on.
There
there's
was.
a lot going on, and
Yeah.
well, all over Saranac Lake, because like I said,
Hmm.
a lot of people are natural entrepreneurs, and they said, well, we don't have enough. They saw that they didn't have enough occupancy,
Hmm.
so they were literally using their own home, for to bring people in. They would pay X amount of dollars to stay in a room, and the doctor would travel from building to building, and they had to register their house
Hmm.
as a care cottage.
Okay.
And that's, if you as you drive around Saranac Lake, you'll notice a lot of the homes have either open porches, large open porches, or glassed in porches. Those were all cure cottages.
Okay.
It was a big industry up here.
Yeah, there are a whole bunch of them in Saranac Lake. Like it's amazing. When we first went to Saranac Lake, we didn't know anything about the history of the town, right? And we're like, what is with all these second floor porches, like closed in second floor porches? What is
Yeah,
going on here? And then we started learning about it. We're like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, they're cure
and they
porches.
would
Yeah,
they had chairs, they had what we call chaise lounge,
yeah.
and they would bundle them up with deer animal robes, and wool blankets, and they would put their hats on, and they would spend hours outside
On the
breathing the cold
porch.
air on the
Yep.
porch. Most of the
Yeah.
porches were open air, and then
Yeah.
I do
as
that
you
for
know,
fun.
well, I live up here. Okay, that's fine. Whatever
You
you got
know.
to do for fun, it's great. Um, um, yeah, no, I'm good. I do my snowshoeing, but once it gets 0 and it starts freezing all the way through here, and yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm good.
Yeah. And when
I'm
you wear
up inside.
glasses, it's even harder
Oh yeah,
because, yeah,
and if you sweat like I do, they end up getting connected to your face, and that's not
yes,
fun.
Yeah.
they freeze right to your face. Yeah. Nikki wanted to say that's incredible. I've never had that happen to me on an investigation. And I'm
Yeah.
loving the connection here because Nikki is with my former paranormal group and you're my current paranormal group.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I have had some interesting things happen, but I've never investigated a medical facility.
Hmm. Well, this
So,
was our first two, and
yeah,
it's something that we'd been wanting. Like I said, there was so many buildings on that property. Some no
mhm,
longer exist,
right.
but there's still a lot of buildings on the property. So we did 2 weekends, And I'll tell you, we were all drained. Both teams, we were wiped. Both physically, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah, we were supposed to have a meeting the following weekend, and we just canceled the meeting because nobody was up to do anything. It took a long time to recoup.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah.
I know that there were some other investigations that I was on that had nothing. Well, I guess it was kind of a medical facility. Starvation Heights. I was
Oy.
on, yeah, I was on that one, and it was a self-proclaimed doctor who was basically starving rich people to death and then stealing their stuff, having them sign over all their stuff to her.
Oh, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, yeah, I got to be on that investigation when I
Oh
was
my
with
God.
Whisper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. So that is the closest I've come to a medical facility. But I'm, if I think about it, I guess I could stretch it far enough to make that count.
I mean, we joke that Saranac
Yeah,
Lake is one of the most haunted towns in Saranac Lake, or in the world.
yeah,
But you'd think about all the cure cottages. You think
yeah,
about how many people
hmm,
literally were coming from around the world for
yeah,
the cure, because it was devastating.
yeah,
And Dr. Trudeau, God bless his soul, he experienced it firsthand, not just for himself but his family.
hmm,
He lost a child, he lost a brother, um, and he lost many friends. So his lab is still in existence. You can actually tour the lab, and they have regular meetings there. And
I
they
have
brought
toured
in.
the lab actually.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that one's got an interesting feel as well.
It does. Oh boy, does it.
Yeah, and if you can get in the building next door, the Bartok, Dr. Bartok,
Ah,
um, he also was involved. He was brought in later to help manage the doctors that were coming in, both
wow.
with and without
Yeah, I did read
TB.
that actually. Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job with that museum. It is thorough.
Oh, they have,
Nikki
Yes.
and
Cribbs says that word has it that the man who ran Buttersworth Mortuary in Seattle at the time was in league with Linda Hazard doing business with her.
Yeah, she was the doctor who was like starving people and having them sign over all their
jeez
stuff.
Louise,
Yeah. Yeah, I had
jeez
forgotten about
Louise,
that, but yeah, that's right.
Oh, and
wow.
since we're talking historical fun
Yeah.
facts,
Yeah. Jump on in here,
um,
Logan. You are here.
apparently the founder of the brother of the founder of Kellogg's cereal uh, wa- uh, was a big fan of that open air treatment.
Oh, I wouldn't surprise me at all. We
Yeah,
literally,
I think
I
he
mean,
actually was friends with Trudeau at the time.
I was gonna say, you talk about the who's who.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, seriously. And then Dr. Trudeau realized that every time he had a need, he would reach out to people like the Rockefellers, and they because they all had camps up here,
Mhm.
and a lot of their families are still here. They've literally made a life for themselves up here as well.
Mhm.
But he wasn't afraid to ask them for help. But he himself would go and help people out and not charge them.
Mhm.
The man, and you know, I was able to find some of his medical journals, and I think
Wow.
that hit me the hardest because he was so desperate to find that cure because he was so involved. And I think he was emotionally involved and spiritually involved and physically involved because of everything that happened to him personally. Some of his experiments were a little scary.
Yep.
And that I think that bothered me the most as I'm reading
Mhm.
the medical journals, going, I don't know how I found these, but I am not going to print them because I don't want them in my house.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but
Wow.
like I
I
said,
got goosebumps as soon as you said medical journals. Like I just got covered in goosebumps. Like,
yeah, it's this
oof.
is what happens when you research. Sometimes you travel down the rabbit hole and you find stuff.
I've had
Don't I
other
know it?
theories actually going down the rabbit hole, but I think I'm going to keep those to myself at the moment. Um, we'll have a private discussion about that sometime.
Yes.
So Logan has some announcements.
Yes, I have been doing some promotions for this very show that we are on right now on my own
Hey.
channel, Turtle Island Gaming. Once again, if you like watching people be angry about me being very mediocre at games, check out Turtle Island Gaming on YouTube. We're doing a lot more VR stuff, and I really meant to be uploading more during October, but a lot of things fell through. So
Happens.
I'm extending the spooky season in through Christmas. So take that,
I have
Mariah
no
Carey.
issues with that. No issues with that.
We
she's
love
gonna
the
have to-
spooky season. Where is Tristan? We are talking about the spooky season, and Tristan's nowhere to be found.
But for those who are interested, I'm starting 2 new seasons on the YouTube channel. That is Five Nights at Freddy's VR, which anyone who knows anything about that will know that it's about haunted animatronics at a Chuck E. Cheese style pizza place.
My kids.
And then
Yeah, make
the
sure you tell the
Forest
twins.
VR, which is a horror game about being crash landed on a spooky island full of cannibals.
Oh, hey, that sounds more like my niece's husband.
There we go.
Five Nights at Freddy's is creepy.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, those are the spooky series going on, and I have one that I'm trying to set up. So if anyone knows anyone who has a VR device and Phasmophobia on Steam, please pop over to my YouTube channel, once again, Turtle Island Gaming, and leave a comment on any one of my videos. I will find it. Try to do the most recent one, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. And we had talked about maybe getting that. Say that the name of that game again.
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia. Thank you. We had talked about doing one of these shows with the VR Phasmophobia game.
Yes.
Okay.
That would be a lot of
That would
fun,
be-
and I really
I was
want to
gonna
do it.
say,
So if
that
you
would
want
be
to see it,
interesting.
let us know.
Or participate, like could some of our listeners participate in it? I mean, like it's an
Absolutely.
interactive game thing, right? So
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
could be
I can see
fun.
it. Yeah, you'll
That
have
could be
Amy Lynn
fun.
right there.
Awesome. Amy Lynn and her husband.
Yeah, I'm sure both of them. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
absolutely sure of it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and Susie, thank you for being here. If you want to stick with us, that's great.
Sure.
I would really like to bring Keith on talking about that children's, and I forgot. Jesus, my brain shut off about an hour ago. Sorry.
You're telling me I started a new job today. You think your brain turned off early?
Congratulations! The children's asylum. And does Keith have a link?
He does, and
He
I believe
does.
he is waiting.
Okay, perfect.
Yay.
Then we will be back after the commercial. Susie, going to stick with us? Or you going to check out?
I'll stick with you.
Awesome. All right, we will be back in a few minutes after this commercial break.
Ellie Weisensel's psychic medium is a medical intuitive that specializes as a body code practitioner. As an energy healer, Ellie offers additional services that allow her modalities to be intertwined with energetic healing. Within your subconscious lies information that knows everything about you and why you deal with specific conditions. The subconscious can be considered the blueprint to your entire body. With Ellie working physically with your subconscious mind, we detect what negative emotions are trapped and where they are stored within the body that is causing you your emotional and physical pain. This work is designed to remove imbalances and correct them energetically, getting to the root cause of why you have your condition, to help balance your body so it may heal itself. Your body is infinitely wise and wants to be in balance. The body code is not only gentle for humans, but it is also a gentle process to help animals. For more information, contact Ellie Weisensel at the website below.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. I was a little confused by the message stream, and I don't know if Keith has the link. Does
He
he?
does have the link. We are just
Okay.
waiting for him to click the link.
Okay, because I was looking at the
Large worm.
messages. Let's
Keith.
see. He said I have to get back in the studio.
Ah,
Yes, I have to get back in the studio, but I don't see the link in his messenger.
I sent the link directly to him.
Huh. Okay. Hold on just a second here. All right. Well,
he
if
is
you
here.
oh, there he is.
Hey,
There he
there
is.
Hey.
All
I've been
right.
on here before. It works. I know. I have it saved, no less.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool.
Ooh, echo.
You have an echo?
Well, because it looks like he's not using headphones, so it's probably coming out of his monitor.
Oh, okay. Do you have a headphone?
I don't usually use headphones for Zoom meetings.
It should work out. Okay. All right. Well, if you're hearing an echo, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so tell us about this children's asylum. And Nikki says, "Hey, Keith."
So I have a friend of mine who's highly empathic and can't abide being being stuck in places. And she was in Florida and apparently needed me to deal with a abandoned children's asylum.
Okay. So what happened?
So that took a bit more work than normal because that is not a place most people who are remotely empathic, I am not, should go. Sorry, I still hear the echo, so I couldn't tell if you guys were.
No, we can't hear the echo at all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll try to
Yeah,
ignore it myself then.
You're completely clear on this end.
Yeah.
So I did my stuff remotely, at least in this case, and connected to the building, which turned out to be of pretty fair size. The way that I would deal with something in this event is if the spirit can show me who they are, I can help them. And the term lost souls in the work I do actually is meaningful. They're too old to recognize who they are anymore. And so the majority of the people in the asylum, I was kind of able to help. But like I said, there was a healthy part of them that simply couldn't remember who they were, and that I had to have higher energy beings just come and grab them unpermissioned, maybe is a good word.
Okay.
That was the first place I'd ever done like that. That's a big place, and there was a lot of energy involved with that.
Can you explain to people who might not know what you're talking about, what it is that you do?
Yeah, I figured that was probably coming up. So I guess the technical term is psychopomp, and the meaning of that means that you send over lost souls to the light. And there were an awful lot of them there. I know a similar place I'd done on a much smaller scale was a hospice once. I don't know, does that count as a medical facility or
It
not?
does.
Yes,
Yes.
most definitely.
Most definitely, yes.
Although I remember you had given me advice on that because I probably would have allowed more people to leave, even though it wasn't their time. And you made sure I did not do that. So I remember
Yeah.
taking your advice and being much more careful than I probably would have.
I would imagine if you, okay, I could be way off on this because I'm still a newbie at this. If you sent people ahead before they're supposed to be, would that mess up someone else's timeline?
Possibly. We don't know for sure. See,
We
that's
really
why
don't. Yeah.
yeah, that's why we want to be careful not to send people before their time because, as people are going through that process, so they're often in and out and in and out and in and out of their bodies. And if you happen to catch them when they're out, but they're not fully ready to go, then that can be, could that mess up a timeline? I don't know. What do you think,
Possibility.
Keith?
Rats.
What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I tried to mute on my end. Thought the echo stuff would go. I've always been curious about that, though, when you made that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a hospice, it's not like being in a hospital where you're going to get better.
Yeah.
You're going to pass from that place. And in all honesty, I figured, if they want to go, you probably should, but that's a personal opinion.
Well, Robin is asking, how do you know when the correct time is? And I think that's just it. We don't, but they do. You know what I mean? Like their souls know when the right time is. So even I would think that even if if one of us, any of us, were in that position and thought that that was someone who should be passing over and it wasn't their time, I think that they probably wouldn't go.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could offer it, and
Mm-hmm.
if they decide they're not ready to go, then you move on to the next.
Yeah.
I don't mean it to come off as cold, but
Well, no, I agree with you though. And I don't think that does come off as cold. I mean, how can offering somebody something come off as cold?
Well, it depends on what you're offering.
Well, I suppose, yeah. A kindness. I'm assuming it's a kindness.
yes, it
you're
would be
you're offering a
kindness.
swift boot to the rear. I mean, it's,
Good
Well,
point.
maybe you need it.
I'm not arguing that point. The point is how it's taken.
And she can say that because she knows you.
That's fair.
See what
See?
happens? You hang out at my place for just a little bit. That's it.
Yeah. And by the way, Keith, this is a lady with the fairy circle that Logan had his picture taken in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
like that one.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Do you know the name of the place in Madison? It's something Hill. It used to be a tuberculosis facility.
no, but let me consult the oracle.
Yes.
Y'all talk amongst yourselves while I consult the oracle.
Sir Google. Was it another sanatorium like the one that
Yes.
we had up here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know we were definitely not the only one.
I know it's been a couple of things. It was a medical facility, and I thought maybe it was asylum after that or before or something, but I'm not positive about that. They were doing an event there in Madison, and most of the folks there were going to try and prove there were ghosts there.
Thank you, Ellie. I just looked it up as Ellie posted it. It's actually called Sanatorium Hill.
That's it.
What's the name of the sanatorium on the hill?
That certainly does make things simpler.
It does. Thank you, Ellie.
Simplicity is a good thing.
Yes.
Sometimes.
So, Keith, continue your story, please.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Continue your story, please.
Oh, okay, sorry. So that was an elaborate place. You start at the base where there's a cemetery, and I remember becoming aware of a watcher in the woods that was watching us there.
Yeah.
The other person driving the investigation, um, I'm trying to think of his name. Christina knows him. They've done um, readings together on shows.
Scotty?
Yeah.
Okay. So finish your sentence.
And so I guess he was watching us to make sure we weren't going to bother anyone or we would show proper respect, I guess.
The Watcher you're talking about, right?
Excuse.
The Watcher in the Woods is
Yes,
who you're
right.
talking. Okay.
And
Yeah.
so you start at the cemetery and then you come around towards the other end. There's a church there. And for me, the cemetery was much more animated. And for most people, that will sound silly, but in most cases, cemeteries are quiet, just quiet. I'll say it that way. Who wants to stay at a cemetery after they've passed? It's boring and no one sees you unless you're just coming in because your grandson's going that specific day. You're not going to stay there though. But there were a number of recognizable things. Just it was more energy than specific beings, I guess would be the right term. But you certainly were aware folks were there. And so then you go around to the church. I don't remember a whole lot of standing out from the church itself. And then the next way upward is, so you start going up through this forest that would go up toward, I guess it's technically Sanatorium Hill. They used to slaughter a lot of animals there. That I got busy there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of animals that needed to be sent over then. What was really interesting is, so now you get towards the top of this thing, and it's largely, industrial buildings and all that kind of stuff. I was busy enough up there. What was kind of funny, though, is, so I didn't know any of the people that I was going to this event with, but evidently I must have told a couple of people. And they start like calling out to spirits around the top of this building. Yeah, go to Keith. He'll help you out. I'm like, I apparently have my own fan section or something. They're like driving him over to me or something.
People do that with you though, because you do it and then you talk about it and then be like, oh, well, he can help.
Well, if you've got somebody there
and
that's going to help.
I know that at least one person, I must have gotten told by my guides or something, because one of the people I had to like scan, I guess is the right term, afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, she's got an attachment. We'll have to take that off of her. I think I scanned a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I don't know, that certainly didn't come from me. I'm not that bright in that regard. So I'm like, okay, we're going to have to check people.
You're good at that though. You're good at scanning people.
I mean, it was less about doing it, more about, oh, I need to do that.
Yeah. Yep. Keith often reminds me to scan people.
Yeah, I was going to say with any investigation that we do, we normally do a group protection, and then each one of us have our own protections that we do, and we encourage. It's more than encourage. We insist that before they come onto an investigation, especially like the sanatorium, we knew there was some dark stuff that was going on there, and we didn't want to bring any of that home. I was already dealing with some of it before I even got there.
Right.
Because when I research, I connect. I don't always mean to, but I do. And I was seeing stuff, things were showing up to me that I didn't want to see, and I was pushing it away. And that's what happened in that one building. The entity, and it's an entity, it was not a spirit, that had made its presence known in my house, which kind of sent me off the deep end because I don't allow that.
Right.
I heard the voices in my head while we were doing the EVP. We had dowsing rods going. We had a REM pod. We had EVP equipment, recorders on the floor, and I think we had a couple other pieces of machinery. But I could hear his voice answering the questions that was being asked by,
Wow.
yeah. And I kind of flipped shit and I got mad at it. And I
Okay.
said, I don't like where you're going with this. I said, you're not going to hurt my team. I'm kind of like the team mom. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to come that way, but this is what's turning into. And in the process of me getting mad, it came at me. And I know that's what happened. And that's why I just completely.
Same thing happened to me at Starvation Hill.
Yeah.
Starvation Heights. Yeah. She came after me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know what that feels like. And honestly, she's the only one who's ever gotten away with it.
Yeah. Like I said, it
Yeah.
knocked me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was prepared, but I was not prepared as I should have been.
Exactly. Same story here. Yeah, I get it.
So you learn, you move
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Yep.
And yeah. So, and I'm sure we're
It's
going to
okay,
be.
Keith. Keith posted in the comments, oops, fell off. Sorry.
No, that specifically says feel off.
Feel off. It does specifically say feel off. I self-corrected. Susie, I love having you on the show. You have so many great stories and so much information. And Logan, I feel like you have some stuff you'd like to interject here.
Not really.
Okay.
Today's just kind of been a weird day, and I haven't really had a whole lot of time to prepare for this episode.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'm happy to just kind of take the back seat on this one.
All right. Cool. But I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Glad that you made the
Yes.
effort to be here, and your presence is always welcome. You always bring great humor to the show, even when you feel like, oh my God, today kicked my backside.
I try.
You do a really good job. Susie, I am really excited to get out there more in New York and
Yes.
work with the team more. And
Absolutely.
I did see the team chat that said it's looking like February 3rd and 4th might be the days.
Yep.
Super excited. We haven't made that announcement yet, but I'm so really excited about those dates.
We'll just leave it there right now.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
until we have that signed
Yep,
piece of paper.
that's as far as I could take it right now. But
Yep.
yeah, I was very happy to see that. And yeah, Nikki has a message for you.
Thank you, Nikki.
So yeah, I was really excited to spend time with the whole team when we were out there in October.
Oh,
And-
good. We are definitely looking forward to having you aboard.
Yeah, thank you. And I know
For
Logan
sure.
was pretty excited about maybe getting involved too. He was like, "Where's the paperwork?"
He's absolutely more than welcome. If you can handle our crazy, then you can handle about anything.
I mean,
You haven't seen us. I don't. Wait till you see us when it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's the second night of an investigation, and we're all a little on the loopy side.
that's my primary time to record is when I'm deliriously tired. So
Perfect.
Any ties to Children's Hospital, Christina? Not at the moment because I'm not focusing on it. But do I have any ties to Children's Hospital? Is that what you're asking me? I'm not sure what the question is. So you're all crazy. Oh, come
Yes.
on, Robin. Robin, you're a paranormal investigator too. There's no it's we're.
But
yes,
we have to be just a little bit crazy to spend our favorite downtime in the dark.
Freezing.
I mean, fuck. Come on.
Waiting to hear that bump in the night, waiting to
Yep.
hear that, the touch on the shoulder. Oh, hey, we got something.
Yeah. Feel the hair
Um,
stand up on the back of your neck.
Yes.
Yeah.
or just waiting for that one response that you get, or the stick figure that has a conversation with you.
Yes. That's so phenomenal.
That was so incredible, so incredible.
What a great experience.
Yeah, I
That is
mean,
so cool.
even with the bad, I wouldn't trade it. I don't know, because it's all under new ownership now. I don't know if we'll ever get back in there.
Yeah.
But we've said that about other places, and we've been able to get in. So
Yeah.
who knows? We put it out to
Yeah.
the cosmos and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, you did hear the announcement, so you know that we're going to be there.
Yeah.
Moonbow Productions is doing a metaphysical fair. And yeah, I'll be talking to leadership about having a booth there too.
Oh, sweet,
Yeah. Yeah.
sweet. Yeah. No,
So
I
leadership,
love.
I just talked to you about it.
There's two leads, so you gotta have to talk to him
Yep.
too. But
Gotta
I'm
talk
pretty
to
sure
both
he's
of
gonna
them.
agree with it as well.
Yep.
No, the Hotel Saranac. We might as well talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Great place. I worked there for 8 years, and I'll just tell this story real quick. So
Yeah.
the first time I was a member of this team, I was literally brand new to the paranormal world. I mean, I've had experiences throughout my life, but I was officially on a team.
Yeah.
And they were setting up the cables. I don't know anything about cables. They were doing this, they were doing that, and suddenly, I'm just kind of standing there. Well, I had been in this building, like I said, I worked there for 8 years. I love the building. I love the atmosphere, the spirits that are there, with the exception of a few cranky ones. There's nothing negative there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lucky enough, you get to meet the cat.
Yep. I've met the cat.
Have you met the cat?
I have met the cat.
And so I decided to kind of wander to see if I could find my old office, because they were renovating the place. So the floor that I was on was literally, they were bringing it back to what it used to be prior to when I was there.
Okay.
Back in the early, would be the 50s. So I'm wandering around, and I found my old office when I was in the sales department. Great. It's now wide open. Oh, wonderful. And now I'm trying to find my way down into the basement, which was my other office. And I heard my name called. Well, they had been talking to me off and on prior to this, picking my brain about logistics and everything else, because I knew the building, literally inside and
The
out.
team had been, not the ghosts. We just want to be
The
clear.
team had been,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
And again, I heard my name called, and I hollered up to the second floor. I said, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. So I was looking for something in particular, so I kind of wandered off again. And then I heard my name, except this time it wasn't just Susie, it was Susan. Okay, I'm coming. So I walk up to the second floor where we were staging command. And I walked up and I said, what do you want? And everybody turned, which was a little weird, but everybody turned and said, what? I said, you called me. No, we didn't. And everybody's looking, did you call her? Did you call her? No. So my first reaction is, yes, they remember me.
Awesome. I love it. I love
So,
it.
yeah.
And I love that during my interview with you guys, if you want to call it that, you know, Damon kept throwing questions at me, like, we talked about what I think his name is Alex, the gentleman on the 6th floor. Was it? Did I have the name wrong?
Yes, Alex.
Alex.
No,
Yeah.
Alex was on. Alex is on the 5th floor.
Okay.
But you're talking about the gentleman that died, from
Yeah,
smoke
with the
inhalation?
fedora and the
Yeah, that was the gentleman on the 6th floor. Yeah,
on the 6th floor. Yeah, and my husband and I have both encountered him.
nice.
But that was all part of the conversation that we had during that interview.
Well, we got to pick your brain a little bit, see if you're
Yeah.
going to be apprehensive. We have brought people on the team in the past that said that they, can handle this kind of thing, and we get them to an investigation that's a mild one, and they just completely lose their mind.
Yeah.
And, I can't do this. Oh my God, this, it's that. And we can't have that in an
No,
investigation.
absolutely not.
And so now when we conduct an interview, okay, you said this and you said that. That's fine. We're going to pick your brain. We're going to see how you really feel.
Yeah.
so that we don't have, somebody losing their mind and wanting to go home. And meanwhile, we're 50, 60 miles away from home. It's not like we could just drop you in the car and then go take you home.
Right. Right. Exactly. And
2 hours away, 4 hours away.
that was fun though. It didn't feel like an interview. It felt like a BS session, basically.
But
Yeah.
we interview a different way, but
Yeah.
we learn a lot when you're relaxed and you say stuff, and then we
Yeah.
make our decision from there.
Yeah, Keith had brought up something that I had forgotten about Children's Hospital when my niece was born. I kept seeing a spirit of like I don't know, maybe she was 7 or 8 years old, but like a spirit of a little girl with red hair who was running around calming down kids who were getting upset, sick kids who were getting upset.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was just watching her do it, and it felt like she was supposed to be there, so I left her alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
her job.
Yep.
That's her job.
Exactly. Yeah, I know about her too. I thought that's why you were asking the question, Keith. She helps out with infants. Yeah, she's always in the infant department.
Oh, nice.
They
Nice.
knew when my niece was born, she was going to need surgery right away. So she was born in Children's Hospital. And so, yeah, that was pretty cool to be able to watch her doing that. Oh, Keith didn't know I knew her. Okay. I don't
Surprise.
know her, but I've seen her. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So you know what? Our hour is already up already.
Oh,
Can you
goodness.
believe it? Like it's gone already. Again, we do this. We go over it every time. But are you making faces and I missed it? Logan.
No, I'm just kind of reacting non-verbally.
Non-verbally, I get that. Yeah. Susie, thank you for being with us. Keith, thank you for sharing your story as well about the Children's Asylum. And I know that you had asked me some questions about that at the time too. And that was some really heavy energy in a very large building. So yeah, that was that way too. And again, so excited to have you on to talk to you again because I miss my new sister. And yeah, I don't know what we're doing next week, but I know I'm doing it from out east because I will be on my way back from the women's retreat next
I was
Wednesday.
going to say, I
Yeah.
heard that you're going to be in Vermont.
I'm going to be in Vermont. Yeah. Yeah.
Right
And
next
so,
door.
or next Monday. I don't know why I said Wednesday because I have to be back on Wednesday, I think. But anyway, Robin says, great to see you, Susie.
Thank
You're
you.
getting a fan club, Susie.
Who knew?
That sounds like fun. I know. I'm so excited about Vermont. Is Vermont in the U.S.? I'm not answering that question.
It is. I've been there. I can
Yes,
prove that
yeah.
it's definitely in the United States. Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Keith, geography.
Get a map, man. Get a map.
It's landlocked, so yeah, it's definitely there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? All right. Thank you all again so much. And Logan and I will be discussing what we're going to talk about next week because we haven't
Absolutely.
decided yet. So, surprise.
Surprise.
Have a great week, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.